In the previous session, we discussed about the initiation related aspects. Now, in this session, I'll be talking about elongation aspects of translation or protein synthesis. The objective of this session is to study various aspects of elongation. Elongation, there are three key events are there. There are three key events are there in the elongation. What are those three key events? The first one is binding of amino acyl, transfer RNA to a site. So if you remember that at the end of the initiation, there is an empty A site is there. Then the second aspect is formation of peptide bond. Then that is the second aspect event. That is, we call it translocation. So these are the three key events of elongation process of translation. Let us briefly talk about these aspects. The first one is said binding of amino acid transfer RNA to A site. What does it mean? Correct amino acid loading or amino acid transfer RNA loading. Who directs it? Directed by codon. Say there is codon anti-codon interaction is there. Through that one, so there is a correct alignment will be there. The second one is, this is the first one. The second one is formation of peptide bond. There is formation of peptide bond. Peptide bond between whom? Suppose if you say in the ribosome, there are three sites are there. Out of three sites, one site is P site, the another site is A site. Of course, there is exit site is there. In the P site, there is a peptide, already prepared peptide is there in the P site. We have studied in the initiation. And in the A site, this is A site. This is A site. Here new amino acyl transfer RNA. So the peptide bond takes place between these two. Then the third aspect, the next aspect, the third one is translocation aspect. Here it is translocation aspect. The third one is translocation aspect. When you talk about the translocation aspect, what does it mean? Suppose this is the messenger RNA. Here ribosome is here initially. So here initially there are two sites are there. So this is ribosome. The ribosome, what happens once the one amino acid is added, then peptide bond formation is taking place. Suppose this is the codon. This is codon. Then ribosome moves to further another codon. That is another codon. So there is another codon. Ribosome moves. So the movement is taking place. This is what we call translocation. Now we'll study in detail. The first one, as I said, it is the stage 1. Stage 1, what I said, stage 1, then shifting of amino acid transfer RNA to A site. So simply I can say binding of amino acyl. A indicates amino acyl. Amino acyl transfer RNA. Amino transfer RNA to A site. It is binding to A site. Who directs it? So that is codon on messenger RNA. The codon on messenger RNA. So here what happens is because of this codon and anticodon interaction ensures. So that is the reason we say this is the second site. What does it mean? Second checking point at which specificity, amino acid specificity is determined. What does it mean? So that means the particular amino acid shall be attached. So amino acid cannot be changed in a particular protein, the sequence cannot be changed. That means one shall be doubly sure, the machinery shall be doubly ensured to keep the proper amino acid. Okay, then who takes this amino acid transfer RNA to the A side? Suppose the next question is here. Okay, this is the messenger RNA. Here it is the ribosome. Here it is the P side. This is the A side. I say it is the P side. Already peptide is present, or already one amino acid is present if it is initially. Then if it is after some time, there are many amino acids in the form of peptides are there. And A side, who takes this amino acid to the A side? Who escorts its? Who escorts amino acid transfer RNA? Amino acid transfer RNA. The escorting protein complex is EF2U and EFTS and GTP. EF to U, EF to GTP. The main thing is the GTP and EF to U. And EFTS is for the regeneration of this complex. Okay. Then how this takes place? So let us see. Let me talk. First, EF to U. Okay. Then GTP complex interacts with amino acyl transfer RNA. Amino acyl transfer RNA. Once it interacts with amino acyl transfer RNA, leads to amino acyl transfer RNA. Okay, then EF to U GTP. EF to U GTP complex. Then in the next, what happens? This will have interaction. Interaction with what? It interaction with messenger RNA. Okay, then ribosome, which we have seen in the at the end of initiation, formyl methionine transfer RNA. It interacts with this one. Once it interacts with this one, this complex is transferred. So what will happen? The amino acyl transfer RNA, amino acyl transfer RNA and messenger RNA. Okay, then formyl methionine transfer RNA, this all takes place on ribosome. So then this becomes A site, this becomes the P site, plus releasing the EF to U GDP. What does it mean? The GTP in this process, GTP is hydrolyzed into GDP. So this EF to U GDP shall be regenerated into EF to U GTP. Okay, EF to U GDP shall be converted to the EF to U GTP. Okay, then what happens? So EFTS, it combines with EFTS, formation of EF to U, EFTS plus GDP. Then this EFTS to U, EFTS combines with GTP and releasing regeneration of EF to U GTP plus EFTS. Then this EF to U, okay, this EF to U can again go back and participate in the next reaction. What is that reaction? In the original reaction. That is, I can say this reaction. Okay, this is so again and again taking place. One thing we have to keep it in mind. Any amino acyl transfer RNA, any amino acyl, okay, transfer RNA, if it has to go to the A site, it has to be part of polypeptide chain, any amino acid which is bound with amino acid transfer RNA. It shall react with okay, EF to U GTP complex. If it doesn't react, okay, to enter a polypeptide, it has to react with the EF to U GTP. If it doesn't react, it cannot enter. That is condition. That condition has to be fulfilled. Then one thing we have to see in bacteria, the formyl methionine transfer RNA does not react with EF to U GTP. EF2U GTP. So that is the reason. That is the reason it is not incorporated inside the polypeptide chain. Incorporated inside. So the formyl methanol transfer RNA can be the initiating amino acid. Nowhere else it will be found because it does not react with EF2U GTP. I hope I have made this point very clear. Okay, the last one is, this is the one, okay, where we can say, okay, this is the one, okay. Then here, there is the P site, there is the A site, this is exit site. Okay, here UAC, okay, A, here it is CGU, then, okay, then here like this. Here we have the formyl methionine. Then here we have, okay, then here it is, then alanine. Okay, but what happened here? At the end of the initiation, it is not like that. So we did not that this A site is empty. A site is empty. That is the reason I am talking about starting with the EF2U GTP, where it can occupy the A site. So then what happens here? Let us see. So as I mentioned earlier, that EF2U GTP comes into the role. Once it comes into the role, let us see again here. Here, okay, AUG, okay, GCA, okay, 3 prime, then, okay, like this, then like this, okay, this is the exit site. So here UAC anticodon, here CGU anticodon, okay, then here it is like this, here it is formyl methionine. So this is representing alanine amino acid, okay, here the amino acid alanine, okay. So occupation has taken place. Okay, then what happens here? The EF2U GTP binds 3' end. This is the 3' end of amino acid transfer RNA. This is the 3' end. This is the 3' end of the amino acid transfer RNA. And by binding it, it is masking it. It masks this one so that alanine is not, this amino acid is not exposed and others will come and react it. So that doesn't happen. Okay. Then the EF2U, this binds only when this codon, anticodon matching has taken place. Okay. Then amino acid transfer RNA coming and occupying it. Then only it is taking place, this one. Then after that, what happens? After that, this EF2U, I have shown, it is converted to GDP, and it is again, and recycling, it went out. That means that mask is removed. Okay. Now, this alanine, which is there along with the transfer RNA, can have the reaction with another peptide or another amino acid. So that then we will be entering the stage 2. Stage 1 is completed. Then now it is stage 2. In the stage 2, so what happens here? The formation of the peptide linkage. Here it is formation of peptide linkage is taking place. Formation of peptide bond. Okay. Then formation of peptide bonds taking place. So what happens? Once when you see the correctly alignment between codon and anticodon is taking place by this charged transfer RNA into A site by correct alignment of the codon and anticodon. Okay, then what happens? Okay, placed into A site. Then what happens here? It rotated into, this is rotated, this site rotated, this place rotated into Peptidyl transferase. Peptidyl transferase. Sorry. Peptidyl transferase, an enzyme. An enzyme. Peptidyl transferase. What type of enzyme? This one. It is ribozyme. It is ribozyme. This ribozyme, it is with whom it is associated? With whom it is associated? Okay, with whom it associated? It is associated. It is associated with 50s. 50s associated with. Okay, 50s ribosome. It is associated with 50s ribosome. Then subunit. If it is 50s subunit, with what? Next question is specific. With what? With what? Okay, so here the question is, it is with the 50s subunit contains 23s ribosomal RNA. Ribosomal RNA. 50s subunit contains 23s ribosomal RNA. Okay, what is the role of this peptidyl transferase? So let me just simply write. Okay, then ribosome, simply showing for the understanding, showing the P site and A site. And in the P site, there is one amino acid transfer RNA. Here, I can say formyl methionine. Here, I can say there is alanine. Alanine. So this is, we call it P site. This is called A site. So what happens? This formyl methionine transfer RNA, and here it is NH2, and there is a peptide bond formation has taken place. So as you know, peptide bond, there is a binding between amino acyl group and carboxyl group and amino acyl group. And also you know very clearly you know it that the peptide, the protein synthesis takes place from the amino terminal to the carboxyl terminal. Okay, carboxyl terminal. Okay, that you know about that aspect. Okay, the next one is here. Then what happens here? Let me write a full diagram here. Here it is 5 prime. Okay, AUG, and then GCA 3 prime. Okay, then here it is like this. Okay, then again I'll write about P site and A site. This is the exit site. Here UAC. Okay, here it is UAC. Then here you can write the amino acyl group. Then formyl methionine. Initially we started with the formyl methionine. So if it is after some time, it will be a polypeptide. Okay, then CGU. Okay, then here. Okay, anticodon. Here we have the alanine. Okay, then what happens, as I shown earlier, there is a peptide bond formation has taken place. Peptide bond formation, once it is taken place, there is a connection has taken place. So between the P site and A site, this is the 5 prime. Here also this is 5 prime. Here it is 3 prime. Here it is 3 prime. Okay, then once this is taking place, there is another enzyme is there. What is that enzyme? That enzyme is called deacylase. That enzyme is deacylase enzyme. The deacylase enzyme is another protein. It is another protein. Okay, associated with ribosome. Okay, it is associated with the ribosome. Okay, another protein, so associated with the ribosome, ribosomal protein. It cleaves the peptide. The peptide, earlier peptide bond formation has taken place. Now the peptide, it has become a peptide or polypeptide. So peptide is cleaved. Peptide is cleaved. So let me go back again to the diagram. What happens? The peptide may be cleaved here. Okay, then what happens? What will be the scenario here? Once the peptide is cleaved here, what will be the scenario here? So let me see here. Then AUG, okay, then GCA, then 3 prime. Okay, then what I do is, again, I am drawing the 70S complex like this. Okay, then like this. And okay, this is the exit site. Okay, then UAC, okay, let me just shift this one here, then AUG, okay, then like this. Okay, then what happens here? CCU, then here anticodon I have written. Okay, then here what happens here? Okay, then here you see the entire polypeptide, this is alanine, this is formyl methionine. This is split and shifted to the A side. This is A side, this is B side. This is called deacylated transfer RNA. What does it mean, deacylated transfer RNA? The deacylated transfer RNA means transfer RNA without the amino acid group. Okay, next let us enter the third stage, that is the stage 3. So far we have completed the stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1, occupation of A site by amino acid transfer RNA. Stage 2, formation of peptide bond. The stage 3 is translocation. Translocation of, be specifically, translocation of ribosome. Translocation of, you can say, ribosome. Okay, ribosome. So, what happens? There are two enzyme reactions are taking place. What are those enzyme reactions? After peptidyl transferase, okay, and deacylase reactions. Then what happens here? Both enzymes, cumulative action of this enzyme, there is here, I can say, two ways I can explain. So transfer RNA, as I already said, transfer RNA at P site is deacylated. I said, what is deacylated? Deacylated means transfer RNA without amino acid. That is one aspect. Second aspect is, okay, peptide, the polypeptide. So what is the position of growing polypeptide? The growing polypeptide is linked to okay, the transfer RNA, okay, transfer RNA in the A site. That is the change in the A site. So that has to be noted down. This is what happened here. So then for a new round, then again this has to be continued. So till required a polypeptide is synthesized. For a new round, okay, there are some of the reactions which are taking place. What are those? Let us see. P site, okay, P site, movement of P site to E site. Okay, that is move P site into E site. Then, okay, then we have the A site into P site, movement. A site, so move. A site to P site. What is the third aspect? The third aspect is the messenger RNA. The messenger RNA must move by one codon, because a new codon has to be there and new amino acid has to be incorporated. All these aspects. So they are collective reactions, collectively called as, okay, translocation. That is it comes under the translocation. That is the stage 3 of this elongation process. Okay, so please note one aspect. Here. What is that one? So during this shift, during this shift, what happens here? During this shift, peptidyl transfer RNA remains bound to codon in messenger RNA. Remains bound to codon. It is not split from the messenger RNA. Codon in messenger RNA. That is the one aspect. Okay. Then, but what happens? But one thing, it has to be noted down, the ribosome. The movement of the ribosome is taking place. Ribosome moves. Where does it move? Moves in 5' to 3' direction. What does it mean? 5' to 3' direction. So let us see further explanation of this one. So what happens in this movement? What are the changes which are taking place? See here, positioning A site over the next codon. Okay, over the next codon. Here ribosome movement is taking by one step ahead. Okay, so positioning A site over the next codon. That is the aspect which is taking place. Now the second elongation factor comes into the role. The second elongation factor comes into the role. Okay, what is the second elongation factor? The elongation factor EFG. It associates with GTP. That means, so there is GTP and EFG. Okay, so this one contact factor binding center. Okay, binding center where, so that EFTU also binds at the factor binding center at the ribosome. Okay, let us see here. Very interesting scenario here. What is that interesting scenario? So we'll come to know through the diagrammatic representation. Here I have so this is the messenger RNA, AUG, okay, then GCA, okay, here it is, okay, then the 70S complex, then I write, this is the P site, this is the A site, then here it is, so again I say just here AUG, okay, then this is exit site, so UAC, then CGU, then what happens here? There is this deacylated transfer RNA. Here in the A side, so there is a polypeptide. This is here alanine, then formyl methionine. This is P side, this is A side, this is E side, this is 50S, this is 30S. Okay, then what happens here? Suppose what I say is factor binding site. I will show EFG, okay, GTP. Once the factor binding site, it binds it. Then what happens? The EFG GTP, okay, GTP stabilizes ribosome. The binding, it stabilizes ribosome. In the rotated hybrid state. Okay, so when EFG GTP binds, it contacts factor binding site, hybrid site. What does it mean? The movement has to take place. What is that aspect? There is a 50S complex. Here, this is the 50S complex. This is the 30S complex. Codon is there. Anticodon is there. Deacylated transferon is there. The peptide is attached to the A site. The ribosome has to move further. Then, so there is a discrepancy in the movement of the 50S site and 30S site. 50S site tries to move earlier. than the 30th site. So in that condition, what happens here? So this, the deacylated transfer RNA, so this one tilting this to the E site and this one tilting towards the P site. But this anticodon is still attached to its original one. So the movement will be anti-clockwise. So this is, we call it hybrid state. So that means, so what it means, so there is discrepancy in the time of the movement of 50th site and 30th site. Okay, then what happens? See how interesting it is. Let us see then next what is happening here. Then EFG GTP binds it at that time. There are gates are there. Gates are present to separate whom? To separate whom? Okay, the separate whom? The E site, P site and A site. So movement is restricted because movement cannot be free. It cannot be through fair. So because it has to be very systematic. Then what happens? How these locked gates become unlocked? When EFG formation takes place, EFG GDP formation takes place, that happens, EFG GDP is idolized. When that happens, by the action of this one, the gates are unlocked. The gates are unlocked. See, here the gate, here there is no gate. Gates are unlocked. Once the gates are unlocked, once unlocking is taking place, they are unlocked. Then what happens? A site, then P site movement. This is the A site, this is the P site. Movement taking place. Then what is the next one? Okay, once this is taking place, this movement is taking place, what it does? It forces whom? It forces P site movement to E site. E site. P site movement to E site. Okay, then simultaneously EFG GDP is released. It is released. Once after this movement, the EFG GDP is released. Once it is released, what happens? Locking taking place. Locking of ribosome is taking place. The purpose is served, sent out, shifted. Movement has taken place. Now, unlocking is not required. So locking has taken place. See how interesting it is. How interesting the mechanism here. It is taking place. So this you can see here. After that, how this 70th ribosome looks like. Here we have the EFG. Then here GTP is converted to GDP. Okay, GTP is converted to GDP. Then what will happen? Let us see how the 70th ribosome so looks like. This is the 5 prime. Simply, I will not talk about the individual codon. Then simply I will write the codon. Okay, then here it is. Okay, then here it is. Okay, here it is. This is the A site. This is the exit site. Okay, then here I say here anticodon. Here, so this is empty again. Empty. Here what we have, this is alanine and this is okay for formyl methionine. This is P site, this is A site. So you remember, again we have seen at the end of the initiation, after addition of the one amino acid more, the same situation has come. That means it is ready for addition of another amino acid. The A site is vacated so that new amino acid transfer RNA can be taken up. See here, this is 30S, this is 50S. Then next what happens here? Here the deacylated, sorry, here the deacylated transfer RNA is there at the exit site. So this is, I say, this is exit site. So it is comes out. It is comes out, deacylated transfer RNA. Then next, you can see here. You can see here. So these steps are repeated. That is steps 2, 3, 4, 5. So repeated again and again till the required length of the polypeptide is synthesized. So here codon. Okay, here it is. Okay, then here it is. Okay, then we have, this is the P site, then this is A site. Okay, here I say anticodon. Then what I do is, after addition of the many amino acids, see how a polypeptide looks like. Here how a polypeptide looks like. The polypeptide is looking like, of course, at the last it is formyl methionine. Okay, then we have this exit site. This is P site, this is A site. This is 50S. Okay, this is 30S. Now, the next phase of the translation takes place, that is termination. I will summarize whatever we have studied. Okay, what we studied in the today's session about the translation aspects of protein synthesis, that is elongation. Objective was to study various aspects of elongation. There are 3 key events, 1, 2, and 3 events. So the first one is binding of amino acid transfer to A site, formation of peptide bond, and translocation. Briefly, I discussed about this one. The first one, correct amino acid loading directed by the codon. The next, formation of peptide bond, how it takes place, that we have explained. And then translocation, movement of the ribosome, how the movement of the ribosome is taking place. Then we have studied in detail the stage 1, the binding of amino acid transfer RNA to A site. Okay, it is directed by the codon and messenger RNA. This is the second place where specificity is determined, as a particular amino acid only should be attached, or else it is not a normal protein, it is not a normal polypeptide. Okay, then, so here what happens, who escorts this amino acid transfer to the A site? That is the aspect. So there is a complex is there, GTP, EFTU, EFTS complex. So this is the GTP complex EFTU that participates, EFTS regenerates EFTU GTP. Here what happens, the EFTU GTP, amino acid transfer RNA, okay, so combination takes place, amino acid transfer RNA, EFTU GTP, it interacts with the messenger RNA, ribosome, formyl methionine transfer RNA, leads to amino acid transfer RNA and messenger RNA, formyl methionine transfer RNA. This is the A site, this is the P site, and EFTU GTP. Here GTP is hydrolyzed. The regeneration of GTP, EFTU GTP taking place, EFTU GTP plus EFTS leads to EFTU EFTS and GDP, and this EFTU EFTS combines with the GTP leads to EFTU GTP EFTS comes out. Any amino acid transfer RNA which has to occupy the A site, it shall react with the EFTU GTP. Then only it can enter the polypeptide. Only one exception, formyl methionine transfer does not react with EFTU GTP, so that it cannot be found inside the polypeptide. Only it will be the initiating amino acid. Okay, then. So we have taken up this, started with the where we left at the initiation, where we said this EFTU GTP with this one. So the EFTU GTP binds at the factor binding center. Factor binding center masks the 3' of the amino acid transfer RNA, does not allow to react. But after that one, the EFTU GTP is converted to EFTU GDP and leaves it. The affinity is decreased, leaves it. Okay, so this is the end of the stage 1. The stage 2 is formation of the peptide bond. Here, once, okay, it is the correctly charged transfer RNA into A site. Okay, correctly charged transfer RNA. So A side, if it is put, okay, once the correctly charged transfer RNA into A side is put, okay, then it rotated into peptidyl transferase. Rotated into the peptidyl transferase. The peptidyl transferase, it is a ribozyme. Okay, RNA enzyme. It is associated with the 50S ribosome. More specifically, it is with the 23S ribosomal RNA. So, between whom the peptide bond is taking place, it is the carboxyl group of the polypeptide or amino acid which is present at the P site reacts with the amino group of the amino acid transfer RNA at the A site. Okay, that is the peptide bond formation has taken place that we have shown like this. Here we have shown like this. Okay, then by the action of deacylase, another protein which is associated with the ribosome, so where peptide is cleaved. Once the peptide cleaving is taken place, then what happens? The scenario is completely changed. At the A site, so there is a peptide, and at the P site, deacylated transfer RNA. The transfer RNA without the amino acid. Okay, then next, the last stage of the translation. Elongation. So the last stage of the translation, okay, in the part of the elongation, that is translocation of ribosome. Okay, after peptidyl transferase and deacylase action, there are two things which taking place. Transfer RNA at P site is deacylated, that already I explained, and growing polypeptide is linked to the transfer RNA in the A site. As I said, A site, it is present. Okay, then for a new round has to take place, repeated it has to take place, then the translocation process is taking place. Here, the P site move into the E site, A site move into the P site, and messenger RNA must move by one codon. Okay, so during this shift, the peptidyl transfer RNA remains bound to codon in messenger RNA, but ribosome moves 5' to 3' direction. Okay. So, during this shift, what happens? Peptidyl transfer RNA remains bound to codon in messenger RNA, but ribosome moves 5' to 3 direction. Well, in that process, what happens? Positioning A site over the next codon so that new amino acid can be incorporated. With the help of what? Second elongation factor. It is a combination of EFG and GTP. Okay, it contacts the factor binding center as happened in the EF2U GTP complex. Okay, then here what happens here? So there is hybrid state happens. I explained to you what happens here. There is a discrepancy in the movement of the 50S and 30S units of the 70S. So what happens? Deacylated transfer RNA tend to move towards the E site, and peptidyl, the amino acid at the A site, the peptide is there, tries to move towards the P site. But the anticodons still at the same place, that is a part of the TS. Okay, then, so this is what we call hybrid state. It is a counterclockwise manner. Okay, then the EFG GTP stabilizes ribosome in the rotated hybrid state. Okay, so as I said, it is tilting towards this one, and it is that state is rotated because hybrid state, what we can say is 50S and 30S, there is a time difference in the shifting and movement is taking place. Okay, then what happens? What is the role of EFG GTP? EFG GTP, here GTP is hydrolyzed, leads to EFG GTP. What is the role? When EFG GTP is there bound to the factor binding center, there are stabilization has taken place, there are gates are there separating E site and P site and A site. Once the GTP is to convert GDP, that stabilization is gone, the gates are gone. That means that this ribosome can easily move. So, okay, once it is unlocked, the movement of A site to P site takes place, that forces movement of the P site into the E site. Okay, then after this one, EFG GDP is released. How beautifully, how systematically it has taken place. So then once EFG GDP is released, then locking of ribosome is taking place. There can be no movements at present. Okay, So this is what happened here, what it is shown here. So that means, so we have the peptidyl site is occupied with the peptide and aminoacyl site is empty. Okay. Then, so deacylated transfer RNA is released and these steps are repeated again and again, that so till the length of the desired length of the polypeptide is synthesized. Then with this, we have reached the end of the elongation, and the next one is the termination. That we will study in the next session. Okay, thank you very much.